that. In fact, we also met that threshold too, where we had those 75+ mile per hour wind gusts. You can see that we had 102 mile an hour wind gust in Hinton. Freedom had a wind gust of 89 miles an hour, Putnam at 86, Fairview 76 miles an hour, just tremendously high winds coming on through. And these were all the initial wind gusts. Then we had what was called the wake low. That was the winds that came in after the storms came through, and some of those were also well into that 60 mile per hour range. So just an incredible storm system that came through. And so again, it did meet the criteria to be classified as a derecho. We typically see in our part of the state, we generally see them about once a year. Kind of the west side of the state is a little bit less than that, maybe one every 2 years. But climatologically, we get them about once a summer, and then there's a little bit of a higher chance just off to the east of our area. So that probably would be it for the storms. Meeting that criteria for us for the rest of the summer, but there's a chance we could actually be talking about something similar for tomorrow night. Now, right now on our Skycam, it looks good out there. It's actually very comfortable behind our storms, where there's actually some 60s and 70s across green country with northeast winds at around 10 miles an hour. The derecho right now is actually within this kind of massive storms across portions of Alabama, Tennessee, and Georgia right now. But we're kind of watching out for the potential for maybe some additional storms off to our northwest. Just have some storms right now across portions of Colorado that want to kind of wait and see what they end up doing. But as you see with our futurecast, maybe a few storms are possible after midnight out south of the Red River, around the Red River, excuse me. But I think, though, that we're probably waiting until tomorrow morning for there to be a chance for a few spotty showers and storms across parts of our area. So just a low chance for storms tonight. We'll be in the 60s. And then for tomorrow, we'll talk about this because we once again could be talking about somewhat of a similar situation with another wind threat potentially for tomorrow night. More storms are in our forecast this week. And Adam, by the time we get towards the weekend, we're drying things out and we're heating things up. And so we'll be talking more about heat and humidity and not so much storms and derechos. But we'll talk about in our main weather more of that threat for severe storms tomorrow, and also the tornadoes that we saw from last night as well.
Yeah, absolutely crazy out there. We appreciate it, Jack. We'll check in a little bit here. Now, we had some homes in El Reno that suffered significant damage in last night's storm. Fox 25's Paige Taylor spent the day talking with folks there. Paige, what do you see it?
Well, Adam, I'm here on Skyview Drive in El Reno, and this area that I'm in has extensive damage. There's everything from downed trees to trees and houses, roofs that were ripped off. That house that you can see just over my shoulder, though, is one of the more severely damaged homes. That is Brad Halpin's home. I spoke to him earlier, and he told me at first he wasn't going to leave his house last night because he thought it was just going to be a regular storm, but then his daughter came and picked him up, and they did go to a shelter. I asked him what was going through his mind when he came back and first saw the condition of his house.
23 years is gone, you know. What can you do? You know, raise 2 kids there, help raise 3 foster kids. It's gone in an instant. We'll get through it though, you know.
Halpin says they've been able to salvage some clothes, but that there is some furniture that is dear to him still inside the home, and he is hoping to get it out soon. Now, coming up tonight at 5:30, we'll take you inside of another El Reno resident's house that suffered significant damage. Reporting live in El Reno, Paige Taylor, Fox 25 News.
Thank you, Paige. Well, thousands of Oklahomans woke up without power after strong overnight storms. Those swept through the metro there. The wind waking folks up all night. Crews spent the day clearing down power lines, repairing damaged traffic signals, working to restore electricity as cleanup efforts continue across the area. Fox 25's Emma McAndrews has more.
Storms that rolled in overnight, causing several problems across the metro, leaving thousands without power. Crews have been working all morning to clean up several downed power lines along Sooner Road, Bryant Avenue, and other parts of the metro. There was even a stoplight that was blown to the ground. Crews were working to clean that area up, and that's been the story of what these storms brought in, is mainly downed power lines. That's what we've seen across the metro. Now, the other thing this storm left was thousands without power. That's what several electrical companies are working on today, is restoring power to those who lost a majority of it, like I said, thousands overnight. Several lights across the metro also experiencing outages, just blinking in lots of areas, causing traffic delays and stoppages. Now, luckily with these storms, it brought no serious damage, none that's been reported, and luckily no injuries that have been reported as well. Reporting in Oklahoma City, Emma McAndrews, Fox 25 News.
Thank you, Emma. State emergency officials remain on alert as cleanup and recovery efforts continue following severe weather across Oklahoma. State Emergency Operations Center remaining activated as crews assess damage, clear debris, restore power. Emergency managers urging residents to report storm damage at damage.ok.gov to help with recovery efforts. For non-emergency assistance or disaster-related resources, Oklahomans can call 211. Officials reminding residents to call 911 only for emergencies. Cleveland County Commissioners have appointed State Senator Daryl Weaver to serve as Cleveland County Sheriff. Before entering state politics, Weaver served as a director of the Oklahoma Bureau of Narcotics and Dangerous Drugs Control. He was inducted into the Oklahoma Law Enforcement Hall of Fame in 2014, was elected to the Oklahoma Senate in 2018. County leaders say Weaver brings decades of law enforcement and public service experience to the position. A Wagner County woman facing charges after deputies say they discovered a disturbing case of animal cruelty. Investigators responded to the Indian Lodge Motel after receiving reports that several dogs have been left unattended for long periods of time. Inside the room, deputies found 2 dogs dead inside a crate with no access to food or water. A 3rd dog was found alive outside the room after apparently escaping through a window. It was taken in for care. Jennifer Fogelman was arrested on 3 counts of animal cruelty as the investigation continues. Oklahoma Attorney General Getner Drummond urging the state's Pardon and Parole Board to deny clemency for a death row inmate. Carlos Cuesta Rodriguez was sentenced to death for the 2003 murder of Olympia Fisher in Oklahoma City. Prosecutors say he stalked and abused Fisher for months before fatally shooting her in front of her daughter. Drummond says the crime was especially brutal and argues Cuesta Rodriguez should not receive clemency. The clemency hearing scheduled for July 14th is set to be executed on August 13th. Philadelphia police searching for 2 men after an Uber driver was shot during an apparent robbery attempt on Saturday.
Then I heard a car speed off, and then I heard a woman scream, "Oh my God, please help me." Really scary and sad.
Police say a gunman tapped a handgun on the woman's window as she waited for a ride in North Philly. Investigators say the 38-year-old driver tried to escape and was shot in the shoulder as she drove away. The suspects fled, the driver taken to the hospital in stable condition. Witnesses describe the men as wearing black clothing and masks as the search for them continues. A deadly explosion at one of the world's most important natural gas facilities, raising new concerns about global energy supplies. Officials say at least 13 people were killed, dozens more injured when an explosion rocked Qatar's Ras Laffan industrial city last night. The blast occurred at the Barzan gas supply facility. It's part of a major export hub for one of the world's top natural gas producers. Authorities say operations have recently resumed after the facility was damaged during the conflict with Iran. Chinese AI models becoming more popular in the U.S., in large part because they're often cheaper than their American competitors. But a new report asking whether that lower price tag could come with hidden costs. National correspondent Kayla Gaskins has more from Washington.
Researchers from defense contractor Booz Allen tested 4 of the most popular Chinese AI models to see how they performed when writing computer code.
Can code developed by these AI models be trusted?
The study found some models generated significantly more security vulnerabilities when prompted to believe they were working for U.S. government users.
We're talking about here in vulnerabilities. This is a new class of threat.
Some are comparing the vulnerabilities to sleeper agents that operate normally until triggered. So unlike traditional hacking or malware, there's no need for bad actors to break in or even use a backdoor. The AI system was already invited into the room, but now it's adjusting how it's acting, reasoning, and responding depending on who is using it.
This is a category of threat that we as a country need to figure out how to quantify and measure and how to apply guardrails in a way that don't dampen the innovation, but also keep these systems secure.
Supporters of the report say it's a warning about the risks of relying too heavily on foreign AI tools for critical work.
The real impact here is, do we want to, use Chinese models trained on Chinese doctrine that produces more vulnerable code in systems that power our U.S. critical infrastructure or our national security systems.
Critics, however, argue more research is needed before drawing broad conclusions. A technology consultant and senior research fellow at King's College London told Fox News Digital the report underplays the complexity of the issue. And on Capitol Hill, some lawmakers are echoing Booz Allen's concerns. Senator Tom Cotton said American companies should not use Chinese AI models to write code, arguing they could introduce additional cyber vulnerabilities. In Washington, I'm Kayla Gaskins.
Mercy opening a first-of-its-kind digestive health center in Oklahoma City. The new Catherine Ann Meenders Digestive Health Institute will be the state's only comprehensive facility dedicated to exclusively digestive health. The 52,000 square foot center includes procedure rooms, specialty clinics, motility lab, and recovery space designed to bring digestive care all under one roof. Institute opens to patients on June 29th. Lionel Messi breaking the World Cup scoring record, 17th goal scored during Argentina's match against Austria today. It's about half hour after the 38-year-old star missed a penalty kick. Everybody really thought that was going to be the one. It's Messi's 6th consecutive World Cup game he scored in and his 6th World Cup appearance. He had matched Germany striker Miroslav Klose for the most goals in the World Cup at 16 with his first hat trick against Algeria last week. Federal health officials are considering changes to warning labels on testosterone therapy treatments. The U.S. Department of Health and Human Services says newer research does not support some long-standing warnings involving heart risks, prostate cancer, and enlarged prostate concerns. The agency asking manufacturers to update product labels to reflect the latest evidence. And experts say the changes could make testosterone therapy more accessible to eligible patients. Health officials in the Democratic Republic of Congo reporting a troubling milestone in the country's latest Ebola outbreak. The nation's health ministry says confirmed Ebola cases have now surpassed 1,000. More than 250 deaths reported. Officials say 100 people have recovered, but warn the true number of infections could be much higher. One of the biggest challenges remains contact tracing, with authorities estimating they're only identifying about half of potential cases. Outgoing Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard just released a long list of files detailing Dr. Anthony Fauci's role in the COVID-19 pandemic, including allegations he lied to Congress about gain-of-function research. Files being shared just weeks after the statute of limitations expired to criminally charge Fauci. The National News Desk's Jeff Harris reporting from Washington.
In her final act before leaving office, outgoing Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard releasing declassified files which include some bombshell allegations about Fauci, including that he collaborated with career intelligence leaders to suppress the COVID-19 lab leak, plus intentionally lied to Congress. This week, outgoing Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard sharing these declassified files that she says shows how Fauci influenced intelligence assessments on the origins of COVID-19 and, quote, provided millions in U.S. taxpayer dollars to fund dangerous gain-of-function research on bat coronaviruses at the Wuhan Institute.
work which is now widely viewed as the source of the unintentional lab leak that sparked the pandemic.
Gabbard saying the files also expose how Fauci allegedly lied to Congress in 2024 when he was repeatedly asked whether he spoke to the FBI, CIA, DIA, or any U.S. intelligence agency concerning viral research before, during, or after the pandemic.
At the time that there was concern about the fact that Al-Qaeda may have been using or potentially using bioweapons, we had discussions with intelligence agencies about that possibility.
But not as related to, say, COVID-19.
Not to my knowledge.
Gabbard's release only intensifying the ongoing battle over pandemic transparency. Republican Kentucky Senator Rand Paul, who's long accused Fauci of intentionally misleading Congress about gain-of-function research, applauding her decision, writing on X, quote, "Thank you to Gabbard for her leadership and service in pursuing the truth even when it isn't politically convenient." Paul also telling the National News Desk this week Fauci's preemptive pardon from former President Joe Biden should be challenged in court.
He not only destroyed records, but he would send emails to others and say, when you read this, destroy it. So he's guilty of multiple crimes, and someone needs to have the guts to indict him. He needs to be investigated.
A topic fellow GOP senator from Wisconsin, Ron Johnson, also addressed with the National News Desk earlier this month when asked a similar question. Do you feel that there should have been a stronger push for officials, lawmakers to indict Dr. Anthony Fauci?
The presidential pardon doesn't impact state charges, so there still may be some possibilities there. I think where there's fraud involved, I'm not sure whether the statute of limitations apply to all of his potential crimes.
Now, Fauci has not yet issued a public response to the recent file release from Gabbard, but he has long denied all allegations that he covered up the origins of COVID-19, lied to Congress, and funded dangerous gain-of-function research. I'm Jeff Harris reporting from Washington.
Just a very active night last night into this morning. This is our time lapse from our Cumulus Lake Hefner camera looking off to the northwest as storms were just getting going last night across the northwest part of the state. Then as they made their way through the metro area, we had just a tremendous amount of wind coming on through and also that light show as well. We had so much lightning here. You can just see it's basically just like a strobe light there with our time lapse going on through Yukon from last night. So here's what it looked like on infrared satellite. We had those supercells along our outflow boundary, which we thought would produce more storms. Just was that one, but then here we go with our big complex of storms coming in from Kansas, and after looking at all the data, we were then able to determine that it did meet the criteria to be named a derecho, which is Spanish for straight wind, whereas tornado means twisty wind in Spanish. So number one thing that we were able to do, it was able to go for more than 250 miles. We needed that in order to be a derecho. You also have to have wind gusts along the damage path of at least 58 miles an hour. We checked that box, and we also had several well-separated wind gusts of 75 miles per hour or greater. Also check that box too. So here we go with our radar, and as we go into southwest Kansas and into southeastern Oklahoma, where the last bit of warnings were, I mean, it's going to be a little bit over 300 miles, and in fact, we're probably looking at probably closer to 350 miles just from a duration of that the actual derecho going on through. So we we're able to go over for 250 miles. Hinton had a wind gust of 102 miles an hour at the Mesonet sites. Freedom and Putnam were in the middle to upper 80 range. We had Fairview at 76 miles an hour, Buffalo at 73 miles an hour. So also check those boxes with multiple wind gusts coming in over 75 miles an hour. And even some of our, lighter winds that we had on this list there, you're still well into that severe category in the middle and upper 60 mile per hour range. So again, very dangerous winds were passing on through the area. That's why last night we were talking about, didn't really matter if it was a tornado warning or the destructive severe thunderstorm warning that woke everybody up. We had to treat it basically the same. Now, derecho may not be exactly a common thing that you hear about all the time, but we typically see one about once every year in our part of the state and really our part of the Southern Plains. It does kind of go down a little bit the farther west you go, and there is actually a pocket for green country, southwestern Kansas, and northwestern Arkansas that gets about 4 derechos every 3 years. So doing the math, it's a little bit more than one a year, but you get the idea. We basically see about one of these every summer coming on through. And we also have with those derechos the chance for those spin-up tornadoes, which we did have last night. In fact, as of the afternoon, we know that the National Weather Service has have been out doing damage surveys. We saw what the damage looked like in El Reno from our live shots. So we have 3 preliminary tornadoes right now. An EF unknown near El Reno. We're just looking at the damage, and NWS will get a rating on that one as soon as they can. We also know that we had an EF1 tornado near Hera, and also an EF1 that was near the Wetumpka area also, so a little bit farther off to the east from there. But multiple areas will be needed to be investigated over the coming days, and most of our wind damage that we had across the metro and across the state was from straight line winds, but a few of those had embedded tornadoes, and we'll know more about those again in the coming days. But as of right now, with that 3 tornadoes that we've seen so far for the month, we potentially saw more tornadoes last night and into this morning than the entire month of May across Oklahoma, which is just a crazy statistic there. So if we are stuck with 3 from last night, that would bring us now to 66 tornadoes for the year. And again, like I said, more tornadoes occurred last night than we had over the entirety of May, which is just an unbelievable statistic for Oklahoma. We're now running a little bit above normal. As you can see, we normally see 59 for an entire year. But there is, again, that big drop-off from May to June that we typically see our tornadoes really just come down in intensity and coverage area, and so that likely will be continuing, especially later this week as our forecast begins to dry out. We had a lot of rain with our storms last night, too, and into this morning. Many spots, especially in north-central Oklahoma, picked up between 2 to 4 inches worth of rain on the Mesonet, and now that derecho is actually, the remnants of it are now moving through portions of Alabama, Georgia, and Tennessee, where you've got some of those tornado warnings out there. Back off to our northwest, noticing a few severe thunderstorms within southeast Kansas, or southeast Colorado rather. We'll see if some of those are able to make their way down into our area, but most of the area is going to be dry for tonight. As we animate through our futurecast, you'll see that we've got overall very little activity that's going to show up there. Maybe closer to the Red River, we could be talking about a couple storms pulsing up around midnight. But I do think, though, that we could be talking about a few more storms that bubble up as we head into the morning hours of our Tuesday. In fact, our next weather maker has the boundary still kind of situated across the area, keeping that chance for storms in the forecast for our Tuesday, our Wednesday, and also just for our Thursday and Friday, too, before things finally begin to kind of dry out as we head towards the weekend. So for tomorrow, we may have to kind of watch and see how this forecast evolves for the remainder of the evening and into tomorrow, because it kind of looks the same as what it did last night into this morning. You get the chance for storms coming in late tomorrow night along a corridor that's very similar to what we just had, where we have the slight risk coming in from Colorado and Kansas, wind gusts up to 70 miles an hour, golf ball sized hail. But you'll see, though, with our futurecast for tomorrow, that we've got the chance for showers and storms in the morning, and then maybe that continues throughout the afternoon. And if this were to happen, that would potentially bring down that severe weather potential from anything coming on down from Kansas in the evening. Maybe some clusters of storms could be possible, but this is definitely a potential outlook that we could be talking about. Otherwise, other models are totally dry until we get to, again, very late tomorrow night. And there's a big Boeing complex once again coming down from Kansas that would look very similar to what we just had. So we'll see. We'll provide you much more updates as we go throughout the day tomorrow. We also are much more confident, though, in the chance for some heavy rainfall, and more chance for severe storms are possible on our Wednesday, where there's another marginal risk there. This northwest flow pattern that will keep the chance for showers and storms in our forecast over the coming days will continue as we go on into the end of the work week. But by the time we get to the weekend, I think we are now finally starting to dry out, and that will give us a break from the rain and also the severe weather too. But over the next 7 days, still looking at easily another 1 to 2 inches worth of rain in our area. But as we go towards the weekend, where we're drying out, we're also heating up too, with our temperatures getting close to 100, and that trend of above average temperatures will continue from June 30th to July 6th, with actually us going below average in terms of our chance for rainfall during that time. So we'll be watching out for that. 66 overnight tonight as we go throughout the night tonight. Well, temperatures will be in the 60s with that little corridor there, some spotty showers and storms. Highs tomorrow are going to be into the upper 80s and low 90s, with, again, I still think, though, that chance for storms will be better coming in out of Kansas, but we'll definitely be keeping our eye out on any additional storms throughout the morning and early afternoon. And your 10-day forecast shows that tomorrow, because of that potential of storms with that 70-mile-per-hour wind threat, we do have another weather warned day out there for tomorrow. But as you can see, though, we are drying out and heating up by the time we get to the weekend.
Vice President J.D. Vance leaving Switzerland after saying the U.S. and Iran have found a good foundation for a final peace deal. National correspondent Matt Galka reports from Washington.
The first round of new peace talks between the U.S. and Iran ended with optimism from the vice president.
The Iranians have agreed to invite IAEA inspectors back into their country. That is a major milestone for the American people and the first step in permanently denuclearizing or permanently ending a nuclear weapons program in Iran. And that's exactly what we wanted to do. That's exactly what we asked to happen.
On Truth Social, the president wrote, "Everybody is fully aware that Iran will agree to have major weapons inspections in order to ensure nuclear honesty long into the future." But Iran had yet to confirm that inspectors would be allowed into the country to monitor its nuclear program. Inspections were a key part of a nuclear deal the Obama administration signed with Iran, but slowly began to die out when the first Trump administration pulled out of that deal. There's also the issue of the free flow of oil. The vice president said the talks led to a mechanism that keeps the Strait of Hormuz open.
We also wanted to make sure that we actually set up the coordination mechanism so that we could demine the Straits of Hormuz, so that when there are the conflicts that inevitably come up, we can make sure we work through them rather than that leading to escalation.
The Treasury Department temporarily lifted sanctions on Iranian oil Monday. The 60-day relief will likely be a huge financial benefit for Iran, and oil prices continue to fall as more oil will now be available to the global market. Critics of the deal between the U.S. and Iran have said the terms are too favorable to the Middle Eastern country, and some members of Congress say they deserve to be briefed.
I don't know that we're any better off, and I'm not sure where we are, to be perfectly frank. It is not clear what's happening, what's not, who's speaking for America, who's not. Who's got the upper hand? Congress has not been briefed.
The conflict between Israel and Hezbollah in Lebanon could still derail the overall peace deal. Israel and Lebanon are expected to hold more ceasefire talks in D.C. over the next few days. Reporting in Washington, I'm Matt Gelka.
All right, we got more news and headlines coming up for you. Just a minute.
This is the Fox 25 News at 5:30.
We're going to start right away with Fox 25 Chief Meteorologist Jack Kerfin. It's your only local forecast at 5:30. Jack, we had power outages. We saw roofs ripped off of homes. Yeah. In my neighborhood, the garbage can, I got woken up with my severe alert on my phone at about 1:15 in the morning. And in my head, I was like, I should not have put my garbage cans out. I looked. They stood tall. They did not budge.
Like they're heavy. I mean,
they were there, man.
That is.
And I was like, it's just a garbage can at 1 in the morning going, hold.
Yeah, hold. Was your recycling also out too?
Yeah, they all held up. It was crazy.
See, I held off doing that because I was like, I know I'm gonna have this big band of storms coming in, so I did not put them out until when I got home early this morning, which is like 4 o'clock in the morning. Yeah, it was just a tremendous amount of wind that came through the metro and the entire state. In fact, in order for this to be characterized as an official derecho, you had to have a number of statistics, one of which was that it had to travel 250 plus miles with severe wind gusts all along it, which we were able to do. In fact, it was able to go for probably closer to 350 miles. And you can just see how many wind reports we had from this also just crashing on through the area. Now, we did have a number of embedded tornadoes. We're probably looking at there to be a handful of them that occurred from last night into this morning. As of last check, which we'll talk about in our second main weather, probably looking at 3 of them that occurred, but really though just spectacular wind speeds here that were measured on the Mesonet, and that's the reason why we had unfortunately some damage. Now thankfully I'm not aware of any injuries from last night or this morning, so that's some great news. But still though, we are always concerned about there being damage when you have a straight line wind event, because yes, the tornadoes do get all of the credit, but you're going to have much more just damage in general with a widespread wind event than you are going to be with a small tornado. And so with wind gusts of Hinton 102 miles an hour, Freedom 89 miles an hour, Putnam 86. Again, it was just a windy night. And even behind the storms, we had those winds in that 50 to 60 mile per hour range for like an hour after the storms passed through. That's the wake low behind that. So really just a storm that comes through about once a year. That's what the derecho is, and that's what we had coming through last night. Now across the metro area, it's pretty quiet. It's also pretty comfortable too. In fact, in Green Country, there's some upper 60s and low 70s right now, thanks to our winds out of the northeast direction at around about 10 to 20 miles an hour. The remnants of our derecho are now that severe weather potential, as you can see across Tennessee, Alabama, and portions of Georgia. And then we're watching storms off in Colorado to see what they do. Right now, there's a couple of severe thunderstorm warnings and a tornado warning up there, but I highly doubt that we're looking at much activity for the remainder of the evening or tonight. Maybe a few storms try to bubble up closer to the Red River, nearby where the leftover boundary is, but I just think that we're going to be looking at more of a storm potential by tomorrow morning across parts of the area. So it's probably a pretty small chance that happening for tonight. Temperatures will be in the 60s, but a much better chance for storms tomorrow. And again, we'll have to watch out for the potential for maybe again more storms coming in out of Kansas that might do maybe not exactly the same situation, but another possible wind threat coming on in for tomorrow night. So we'll talk about that. More storms are in the forecast for the remainder of the week, and then we are drying out and heating up by the time we get to the weekend. Adam, back to you.
All right, thank you, Jack. We appreciate it here. Now, we got some homes in El Reno that suffered significant damage in last night's storms. Fox 25's Paige Taylor spent the day talking with folks there. Paige, what are you seeing?
Well, Adam, I'm here on Skyview Drive in El Reno, and there is extensive damage all around me. Everything from down trees to trees on houses to roofs ripped off. But I got to talk with one El Reno woman today, and she walked me through her home that now looks drastically different from what it looked like just 24 hours ago.
Here was our front room, and that's our laundry room. So all the roof, and then the dining room, and you can see the kitchen. The roof is all gone.
It was about 1:15 Monday morning when Sherry Murray started getting alerts on her phone about thunderstorms and a tornado warning. She woke her husband up, who went outside to look.
He's the type that doesn't really go to cellars, you know, and so he comes back in there. He goes, "Get your robe." He goes, "We're heading next door."
The couple went next door to their neighbor's safe room.
From start to finish, time we got over there, within less than 10 minutes it had hit.
Sherry and her husband have lived in this home for 10 years.
And here is our bedroom, and it is all gone.
The home now missing part of its roof.
And you know, you always hear go to, indoor closets and that, and this would have been the indoor closet because they don't have no windows. The roof is gone.
Sherry is thankful she and her husband were not in the house when the storm hit.
And you always hear, you hear all these tornadoes and stuff, but never your own home. So we were very blessed. The good Lord was watching out for us. I mean, we didn't get hurt. I mean, this can be replaced, but it is a lot.
Those who have damage from the storm are asked to report it at damage.ok.gov. Reporting live in El Reno, Paige Taylor, Fox 25 News.
Thank you, Paige. And strong overnight storms swept across the metro, knocking out power to thousands, leaving crews busy with cleanup efforts all throughout the day. Utility crews spent the morning clearing down power lines along Sooner Road, Bryan Avenue, several other areas across the metro. In one location, the winds even knocked a traffic signal to the ground. Look at that, forcing crews to make repairs and clear debris. Now, despite the widespread power outages, you see all these lines just down. There's that signal again. No serious damage or injuries have been reported. State emergency officials remain on alert as cleanup and recovery efforts continue following all this weather coming through. The state emergency, the operations center, remains activated as crews assess damage, clear debris, and restore power. Emergency managers are urging residents to report storm damage at damage.ok.gov to help with recovery efforts. For non-emergency assistance or disaster-related resources, Oklahomans can call 211. Officials reminding residents to call 911 only for emergencies. Cleveland County has a new sheriff. State Senator Daryl Weaver has been appointed to serve as the Cleveland County Sheriff before entering state politics. Weaver served as director of the Oklahoma Bureau of Narcotics and Dangerous Drugs Control. He was inducted into the Oklahoma Law Enforcement Hall of Fame in 2014, was elected to the Oklahoma Senate in 2018. County leaders say Weaver brings decades of law enforcement and public service experience to the position. Wagner County, a woman there facing charges after deputies say they discovered a disturbing case of animal cruelty. Investigators responded to the Indian Lodge Motel after receiving reports several dogs have been left unattended for long periods of time. Inside the room, deputies found 2 dogs dead inside a crate with no access to food or water. A third dog found alive outside the room after apparently escaping through a window and was taken in for care. Jennifer Fogelman was arrested on 3 counts of animal cruelty as the investigation continues. Oklahoma Attorney General Gentner Drummond urging the state's Pardon and Parole Board to deny clemency for a death row inmate. Carlos Cuesta Rodriguez was sentenced to death for the 2003 murder of Olympia Fisher in Oklahoma City. Prosecutors say he stalked and abused Fisher for months before fatally shooting her in front of her daughter. Drummond says the crime was especially brutal and argues Cuesta Rodriguez should not receive clemency. The clemency hearing is scheduled for July 14th. The execution date is set on August 13th. Construction now underway. Major project happening Northwest Expressway in May in Oklahoma City. It's a 2-year, $15 million project replacing the existing May Avenue Bridge with a new divergent diamond intersection. A design city officials say will improve traffic flow and safety. City officials say temporary traffic signals, detours, and access ramps are in place to help motorists navigate the construction zone. The project is expected to be completed by mid-2028. University of Oklahoma paleontologists helped uncover an extraordinarily rare fossil that's shedding new light on some of Earth's earliest ocean life. Now, researchers identified fossilized soft tissue from an ancient crinoid, a distant relative of the starfish, lived more than 450 million years ago. Scientists say it's the second known example of soft tissue ever preserved in a crinoid fossil. Discovery giving researchers a rare look at how some of the earliest reef-dwelling animals fed and interacted with their environment. Country music star Ella Langley bringing her sold-out tour back to Oklahoma. 21 new dates for the Dandelion Tour, including a stop at Tulsa's BOK Center on October 9th. This after a breakout year for the singer who swept the ACM Awards, 7 wins, added 2 American Music Awards to her collection. Pre-sale tickets are available June 25th. General ticket sales beginning June 26th through the BOK Center.
The first domino of the Thunder's offseason roster management officially dropped Sunday night. Sam Presti traded guard Aaron Wiggins to the Atlanta Hawks for 2 future second-round picks. The former 55th overall pick of the 2021 draft was a big part of the Thunder's 2025 championship run, scoring 18 points in Game 2 of the NBA Finals. Despite saving basketball, Wiggins saw his playing time decrease this season, but the fan favorite delivered an epic championship speech that will live on in OKC forever.
In my rookie season, we won 24 games. 24 games. But the best part about coming from that year is that the same people in this arena today celebrating this championship were the same people there when we were winning 24 games. It was the point where they tried to call us the black hole of the NBA. But 4 years later, when they mentioned the Thunder organization, when they mentioned Clay Bennett, when they mentioned Sam Presti, when they mentioned Robert Wagner, and every single one of you in this arena, they gotta mention you as NBA.
This trade drops OKC's projected tax penalty from $213 million down to $152 million. Entering Tuesday night, the Thunder have 2 first-round selections they'll pick at number 12 and number 17 overall. I'm Colby Daniels, and that's the Thunder Report.
If you've been hanging on to old Bed Bath & Beyond coupons, now might be the time to get them out. A company launching a legendary coupon hunt to find the oldest coupons still in circulation. Customers have until July 13th to search through attics, junk drawers, and old wallets for forgotten coupons. The grand prize is a $100,000 home transformation with additional prizes, including gift cards. As part of the promotion, some participating locations will also accept expired coupons regardless of the expiration date.
That's crazy. I never know, on an unrelated note, I never let my Kohl's cash ever get remotely close. I usually get it, and it's pretty much the day that I can spend it is usually when I go get it. We've got temperatures that are going to be pretty comfortable this evening thanks to the passage of our storm system and the derecho, as well as just the overall passage of our front in general. The remnants of the derecho are actually into more of the southeast across Tennessee, northern Georgia, and portions there of Alabama. We are watching a few storms across the eastern side of Colorado that'll be moving on into Kansas, and we'll see if any of those can make their way into our part of the state. I think, though, that overall for the rest of the evening, we're going to be pretty dry. If we do see any development, it's probably going to be closer to the Red River, closer to where that boundary is, and we might be talking about a few spotty showers and storms down there. Otherwise, I think we're dry until we get to tomorrow morning, where there could be the chance for a few storms that could develop maybe across central Oklahoma, and there might be a little corridor of some spotty showers and storms that get going during the day tomorrow. This boundary kind of sticks around in place here, but it's the overall northwest flow where we've got our big ridge of high pressure off to our west, and the jet stream goes along and over to the top of that. That will continue to stream on in more showers and storms in the coming days, and so that will keep rain in our forecast going forward. Now for tomorrow, we do have to kind of watch and see how this plays out, because we have another opportunity for storms to form in Colorado and Kansas that will then potentially coming down into our area Tuesday evening into the nighttime hours, bringing with it again another potential for a wind threat. We could be talking about winds up to 70 miles an hour, golf ball sized hail, and a very low tornado risk. If this all sounds fairly familiar, it's basically what we had with our forecast leading up to last night, before we then had a much better idea that we had to ramp things up, and we had the enhanced risk, and then we had all those warnings. So not saying that we're necessarily going to see another derecho, but there's a potential we could be looking at a somewhat of a similar situation and pattern setting up for tomorrow night. Now, this model is actually not going to show that, and that's interesting because what this model is showing is more just kind of scattered showers and storms throughout the day, with maybe some little clusters of storms coming on in from Colorado and Kansas that might be severe in our area, and those will be passing on through, but they could be fairly numerous at times. Other models do what we had yesterday, where we were basically totally dry, and then in the evening and nighttime hours, we had that big just line complex coming on through. So we'll see how things actually end up progressing. But it is, we've got basically two scenarios for tomorrow, which we'll be watching very closely. We'll have a better idea of that, obviously, tomorrow morning. But whatever we do see, whether it's during the daytime or we're waiting until the nighttime hours, it's going to also bring with it a lot of rain. And we're also talking about additional storms as we head on into our Wednesday. Now, we've got more spotty showers and storms in our forecast for the remainder of the work week because of this northwest flow pattern. But thankfully, though, we're looking at that to be kind of wrapping up as we go on into our weekend, where we could be talking about another 1 to 2 inches worth of rain. Drier conditions are then expected by the time we get to the weekend, and that's how generally we're going to be talking about things going forward, because that heat dome looks to kind of take over with an above average temperature trend and above average or below average precipitation trend during this time. So I do think, though, that while we do have another weather warned day for tomorrow for the chance for storms, I think, though, that we are looking at things to dry out by the time we get towards the weekend. And then it's pretty hot, as you can see there. A lot of upper 90s, even some triple digits there. I think there's your typical Oklahoma summer starting to show up again.
Yep, just hit, right? Got through Father's Day. Everybody had a success is what it sounds like. And then
boom.
Bang, right there. Wow.
Yep. And then, you know, then it's usually going to be dry until the state fair, and we know how it goes.
First day of the state fair, downpour like crazy, torrentially, and then we'll figure it out.
Yep, figure it out after that, yeah.
Well, there was a Festival of the Arts somewhere in there to give us the rain.
Oh, yeah, they also get that, too.
Here's what's coming up tonight on Fox 25. You got FIFA World Cup today at 6. Then it's FIFA World Cup. We got Norway and Senegal at 6:30. Norwegians, they get a little rowdy here. It's followed by the Fox 25 News at 9.
I'm Didi Gatton with the National News Desk in Washington, D.C., and this is your news update.
I actually had a donor call me at 3:30 a.m. just a few days ago complaining about how there's no leadership. The party is completely rudderless, And they basically elected 50% of the people who got us into this mess.
A former Democratic fundraiser who switched parties is publishing a book with new details about former President Biden's cognitive decline. Lindy Lee told Fox News Digital she was shocked by some top Democrats who defended Biden in public but expressed concerns about him in private. Lee said her book will detail who knew about Biden's cognitive decline but pretended not to. Next.
Every decision I've taken has been about putting the country I love first. That is why I will resign as leader of the Labour Party.
UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer announced his resignation this morning. Starmer faced pressure from his party to step down after 2 years. He will remain caretaker prime minister until a new leader is chosen. He's calling on Labour Party officials to open nominations on July 9th and complete them by summer recess to ensure there's a new leader when the parliament returns in September. Former U.S. Olympic canoeist David Hearn said he was arrested on Friday after touching the blue coating in the Lincoln Memorial reflecting pool. Hearn said a piece of blue coating was partially detached from the bottom, so he touched it out of curiosity but didn't damage it. He claimed police did not read him his rights. He is due in court on July 9th. And that's your news update.
You can see more from the National News Desk at 5 o'clock on Saturdays at Fox 25. We got a new speed record been set. This one built brick by brick. Lego and Swedish automaker
Koenigsegg.
Wow, Koenigsegg.
Yep.
Thanks, man,
Yep.
because that was going to be an absolute nightmare. Teamed up to create a life-size version of the Koenigsegg Seder's Spear using more than 327,000 Lego pieces. The working replica took more than 9,400 hours to build. Recently reached a top speed of 69 miles an hour. Now, it's not close to the real car's 220-plus mile-hour capability, but it was enough to shatter the previous Lego Technic speed record.
So that what's crazy is the Lego weighs more than the actual real car
Yeah.
does. Because you have the Lego pieces, which, yes, they are plastic, but then you also have to, because it's moving like that, you got to glue them together. So it actually ends up weighing more than a real car, but that's, you know, the Koenigsegg, they use all the exotic stuff like carbon fiber, everything, and it's just sweet to see that.
Yeah, it'd just be a bummer if somebody dropped it. You know what I mean?
Ever stepped on it with your
Yeah,
foot?
oh,
Like,
no,
oh, man.
no. Oh,
It would hurt.
It just hit me in the shin.
Yeah,
Like,
right,
oh, A police standoff in Arizona took an unexpected detour when an uninvited guest rolled into the scene. Officers in Chandler were responding to a weapons-related incident when a DoorDash delivery robot named Dot entered the area. Police say the robot ignored commands to leave and continued operating near the active SWAT scene. Eventually, a technician from DoorDash called in to remove the robot from the area.
I wonder who ordered the food in there.
I have some ideas.
Yeah.
We're not going to go there.
Probably
But man, just like, how about you get that call where they're like, "Can you come pick up your
robot?"
I know it's got somebody's Thai food in it, but we kind of have a situation here.
Yeah. I don't think they've got those robots here in Oklahoma City yet.
Not yet, but man, you see those in like the Waymos.
Yeah.
You know, like the little guys that are kind of
Phoenix.
almost like got like a little Wall-E kind of situation.
Yeah, like Phoenix allows all that stuff to just drive around there. It's pretty nuts.
I saw one in Austin that was like going, and it like stopped and turned around and stopped and turned around. I was like, yeah, me too, bud.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll figure this thing out.
Same.
The 4th of July is still a couple weeks away, but oh, yeah, this was huge headlines during the weekend. This is a fireworks stand in Broken Arrow. Officials say the stand caught fire. What a chain reaction here as those fireworks began exploding. When those emergency crews arrived, the fireworks were already detonating. So there was just a massive amount of sparks and smoke here. There were no injuries here. I mean, I just look at the flames at the bottom of that and the smoke and, like how you talk about how dry it's been. You're like, this could have got real bad.
Man, it reminds me of the San Diego 4th of July display from a number of years ago where they accidentally like launched all of them at once.
Yeah.
And so it was supposed to be like a half-hour show and it ended up being
10
like
seconds.
10, 20 seconds of just boom.
You know what that was? That was America,
That was America.
baby.
We do things the right way.
Give it to you all at once.
That's right.
Gosh, that's crazy.
Yeah, just like our storms last night, it just gave it all at once with those winds and even those embedded tornadoes. We'll have much more on those in our newscast coming up later on tonight. Temperatures, though, will be in the upper 80s and low 90s the next couple of days with storm chance that will become less numerous. And as you can see by the weekend, it dries out and it becomes hot.